Just wait for people to get in here. We should be coming at you pretty quick, hopefully. Looks like we are live now. I'll pull open comments here so I can read along as we get people jumping in. If you are seeing me, say hello. Drop a comment down there. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from. I'd love to say hi. We're going to give it a couple minutes to let people kind of coagulate into a unified whole. And then I'll jump into what we're talking about today, which is pricing. Book pricing, specifically. Fiction. You know, the stuff you write. The stuff that you want to write. The stuff that you're good at writing. I see we got about 6 people on the group. Got Dale with us. I see that. Sup, dog? If y'all don't know Dale, you need to go follow Dale right this moment. I will even give you permission to leave this live stream just to go follow what he's doing. Dave's incredible. I know Dave pretty well. Oh my God, Dave. Wow. Sorry, I was talking to Dave before this call. Dale Roberts of Self-Publish with Dale fame, of course. Good dude. Good dude. Good dude. One of the best dudes. We're talking about pricing, okay? We're going to give it a few more minutes, a couple more minutes. Sorry, we've got 9 people in the group. I don't want to click over and break everything, but we probably have a few more over on Instagram Live, YouTube, the Facebook page. I think that's about it, where we're coming from, but I'm glad you're all here. Apologize if you got an email and you shouldn't have, or you didn't get an email and you were supposed to. I'm still trying to figure out my CRM for the back end side of this thing. But again, it's all basically so I can spam you with all kinds of stuff, add you to all kinds of mailing lists for Tupperware, things like that. No, I'm just kidding. It's just to keep you up to date, keep you notified of these kinds of things. I mentioned this a couple days ago, so if you watched the previous one, the little opening live stream, you'll know that I want to do these every week. We're going to talk every week about something related to what you do as an author. Now, this is not intended to be a here's what you should do author. This is really meant to be a here's what I did. And I'm going to show you how I do it, how I did it, how I think through it. And I'm hoping that will be helpful to somebody out there. I'm hoping that'll be helpful to you. Here's how it's going to work. I'm kind of making this up as I go along for this first one, but I've got some ideas on framework and structure and all that for all of these live streams. And here's how I'd like for this to work. Drop a comment, first of all. Say hello. Let us all know where you're from, wherever you're watching this from. I'm trying to see comments, but I'm on multiple platforms at once here, right? So forgive me, my large and illustrious team back there, whom you can see, may not be able to get to all of these comments. But first, drop your comment. Let us know who you are. Give us a wave. Tell you where you're watching from. All that jazz. And then as we get going into this thing, drop a question. If I say something stupid, I want to know about it. If I say something that is unclear, let me know. Or if you just have a question that I haven't covered, let me know. I probably won't go and answer them in the moment, but I will get back to them at the end, right? So I blocked about an hour for this. I don't think we'll go over, but I'm hoping to also leave time for some of those questions that you may have, specifically some cases, that kind of thing. So we're going to roll in. We got some good numbers here. I'm going to say hi to some people here before we really jump into the content. But again, if you're just joining us, bookcareerinayear.com is my website, /live stream, should probably not work. And that's what I discovered this morning. It goes to a page and it looks like you can register, but I'm not getting any of those email addresses or whatever. I don't care. So I just sent an email list to everyone on the main bookcareerinayear.com list. Doesn't matter. The point is you're here, you're watching, you know that I'm alive and you're alive and we're all alive and we're all be able to do this together. But it's going to happen here. It's going to be wherever you're watching now. I'm going to be doing this every single week in the same place. Anyway, let's get rolling here. So Kathleen, hello from California. I've never been to California. Believe that? Flown in, but never actually visited. Sabrina Marie is semi-nomadic. That's kind of cool. Traveling in the schoolie. Nice. In Florida, Central Florida right now. Good time to be in Central Florida, of course. Another California. Natalie, welcome. Dale. We don't have to talk about Dale. Everybody knows who Dale is. Who knows where that guy is right now, huh? Am I right? All right, let's get going. Let's jump into pricing. So, pricing strategies for authors. Here's sort of, here's what the framework is going to be of this talk, of this call, if you will. I'm going to go over some myths, okay? I'm going to go over a few things that we, collective author people, have come to believe that are simply not true, okay? And when I say not true, I'm not talking just my own empirical experience and data. I mean collected data that I've studied from places like K-Lytics, if you don't, Alex Niehaus, guys like that who've put this stuff together. This is real data. This is real science, if you will. And then we're going to talk about some definitions because I love getting in arguments with people and then realizing that we're actually not talking about the same thing at all. So yeah, we've all done that, right? Am I the only one? Okay, so we're going to talk about some definitions of pricing before we get further down into it, right? I'm going to give you some general strategies so that you can, say, okay, that makes sense. I understand where he's coming from with that strategy once we've defined the terms. And then I'm going to give you the frameworks that I use. Again, this isn't meant to be a prescription. It's meant to be a description. Does that make sense? So I'm not telling you this is what you should do. I'm just saying, here's how I, Nick Thacker, in 2023, think through these things when it comes to pricing. Okay, so I'm going to give you those frameworks that I use. And then finally, we'll talk about some nitty-gritty details, which will lead right into the Q&A type stuff. So go ahead, tell us that you're here, that you're alive, and you're listening, and you're watching. And then as I go, feel free to drop a comment, and I'll go back through and I'll try to get to questions that you bring up. Okay, let's roll. Myths regarding pricing. Okay, first of all, the biggest myth I hear, and it doesn't always sound exactly like this one sentence description of this myth, but it is so true that this is a myth and that I've heard this multiple times in different ways. Myth number one is there is one correct price for my book, right? Usually the way this sounds is somebody will say, yeah, I haven't really found the right price for my book. Yeah, I've been testing pricing and I'm still not selling the amount of books I should be selling, right? All of that is what I'm wrapping into this myth called there is one price. There's no correct price, okay? We'll talk about why, but myth number one is there is one correct price for my book, okay? Myth number two that I hear a lot is every genre is different. That's a myth. I mean, obviously they're different, right? But we'll get to definitions. But when we're talking about pricing specifically, every genre that we're talking about, that you're here, I'm here, that we write, they're not really that different, guys. We write the same kinds of books, which is called commercial genre fiction or commercialized fiction, whatever it is. It's you know what I'm talking about: sci-fi, fantasy, thriller, mystery, suspense, military, history, anything like that that is not literary fiction or nonfiction. I am saying is similar enough in tone and genre for the pricing not to really matter. Okay. So if somebody comes at me and says, yeah, but all the books in romance are priced low, you're wrong. Obviously, there are books that are priced lower in some categories and there's books that price higher. But the point is the myth of every genre having this amount, this range that you have to price at is not true. It's just a myth. Okay. And data suggests that that's true. Myth number three, finally, price is a major determining factor in whether people buy or not. That's a myth. Okay, now this is where I get in a lot of trouble when people start leaving the room. I'm watching to see if Dale sticks around. The myth, price is a major determining factor in whether or not people buy your book. Okay, I didn't say it's not a factor. The myth is that it's a major factor. I don't believe that it is. And I'll tell you why as we go. You'll start to understand where I'm coming from. So those three myths. One, there's one correct price for your book. Two, every genre is different. And three, price is a major factor. for your book being purchased or not. Those are the three biggest myths that I hear when I go to conferences, when I talk to people, do these kinds of things. Let me go through one at a time real quickly and just give you kind of a reason why I don't call those myths. I believe those are myths and those are not true. First of all, there is one correct price for your book. That's not true, because as we'll see, there's different strategies you can use to price your book at different times. And you're launching your book, the pre-order phase, post-launch. Obviously, these can all have different prices, and you can do really well, depending on your goals and your strategy, at those prices. So there is not one correct price. Now, again, usually when people say this, they mean, I'm not selling super well, and I've tried changing the price, and I just really haven't figured out that magical price point. And guess what, guys? There's not a magical price point, okay? There is a range in which you will probably make the most money, or I should say achieve your goals easiest, but there's not one price for your book. And if you're not selling really well, and you think it's because your book is $349 instead of $399, that's not the reason, okay? You go back to the drawing board. Maybe you suck at writing. I don't know. But it's not price. That's not the reason. Okay, number 2, every genre is different. I kind of explained why this is not true. We all write the same kind of books, largely speaking. Okay, I'm not saying that you write sci-fi and I write thriller and that those are the same. I'm saying that those are both in a category called genre commercial fiction, okay, as opposed to the old school definition was like literary fiction, the hoity-toity, that kind of stuff. We're also in a genre, a category, I should say, of fiction that is self-published, that is indie published. And right now, 15 years after this all kind of blew up and started, escalating, we're still, generally speaking, priced lower than traditionally published ebooks, okay? So you go to Amazon, like take my category, for example, the Clive Cusslers, the Dan Browns of the world. These guys are traditionally published, of course, and their traditional publishers are not in the business of selling books. They're in the business of printing on dead trees, okay? They're in the business of protecting their profit margin for paperback and hardcover, and therefore, the price of their ebooks is often higher than like that mass market paperback version, which is absurd, agreed, but the point is, generally, you can tell a traditionally published book because it's going to be priced so much higher than where we are as indies. So that's where I'm saying we're all kind of lumped into this category called indie author, self-published author, writing genre fiction. And there is a range in which your book probably should be priced. But within that, the genres don't matter, guys. You can price 99 cents in romance. You can price $6.99 in romance, and you can do well, depending on the strategy you choose, okay? Moving on. Price. Number 3, the myth, price is not a major determining factor. Sorry, the myth is price is a major determining factor. The truth is price is a minor determining factor. It plays a role, sure. It's part of what is called the book package. Back in the day, you used to produce this book and there was this package that went with it, which is literally the sales sheets and how it's going to be presented. It's going to be spine out, cover out, how many copies, all that stuff was part of the book package. We took all that online 25 years ago, and that became how we sell books, and that book package is still important. Now, you all know what I'm talking about. Title, cover design, description. It looks like I got cut off somehow. I wonder if anyone can still see me. I hope. If you can still see me, drop a comment. I'm hoping that it was just my my thingy. But I'm going to keep going. And, okay, cool. Dale says I did not cut off. I trust Dale. I don't trust any of you other people. My Facebook screen, I'm trying to watch the comments at the same time. It cut off. Don't worry. Sorry. I will edit that out and we will keep going. Because it says I'm still live over here anyway. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Okay, so book packaging is all of that together, including the price, okay? And all of it together is the major determining factor whether or not a person will purchase your book. You know this. This is intuitive, right? We get it. We know we have to have good cover, good title, good description. The price is part of that factor, right? If any of those things are egregiously off, we're not going to get the sale, right? So if your book cover isn't as good or better than the general population of books in the subgenre you're targeting, you are not going to get the sale. People won't click through and read the description. If your description is also off base, well, they expected, aliens, and you're giving them, jellyfish, Actually, I don't know. The jellyfish are probably aliens at this point. They may not buy it, is the point. Same thing with price. Okay, so it's a factor, but it's not a major factor. If you're priced at $6.99 and you're not getting sales, and then you try to price at $2.99, you'll probably get more sales, but it's not going to be some magic silver bullet. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm hoping it does. Let's move into some of these definitions because I've sort of talked around some of these already. When I say pricing low, for our purposes right here today, okay? Other people may say different things. That's fine. I don't care. I don't like other people. I like me. My definitions that I'm using right now for this call and what I've used in the past, and again, just so I can explain my mindset and framework to you, these are my definitions, all right? Adopt them or not. I don't care. But when I say low pricing, I'm talking 99 cents to $2.99. That's low. Again, for an ebook in genre fiction sold online. Right? Is that fair? So low is 99 cents to $2.99. I didn't put free because that's like a whole other thing. That is a pricing strategy to put something free. But we're not talking about free as much today. We're talking about selling books. Okay. So when you have a price on your book, 99 cents to $2.99 is low. I'm saying $3.99, maybe really anything over $2.99. $3.99 though to $4.99 is this middle range, this mid price. And then I'm calling high for us, for indie authors, $5.99 to $6.99. And of course, anything higher than that is also high. So $7.99, $8.99, $9.99. Anything over $5.99 is high. Okay, those are mine. Those are my definitions, but that's what we're going to use just today so that you can make sense of what I'm spewing out. All right. Here's the strategy with pricing strategy. You need to have a strategy. That's it. Call over. All right. Hope that helped. Your strategy should be, I've determined this is my goal for this book, and here's why this price makes sense. Okay, let's unpack that. A lot of authors will release a book, and the price they set will just be the price that they set for the book before. There's not a whole lot of thought given to it. The very first time they priced their book, they may have gone through or a book, when they first published a book on Amazon or wherever, they may have gone through a list and seen, okay, well, most of these books in the genre I'm targeting are $2.99. And therefore, all of my books from now on until the end of time are going to be $2.99. The reason you made that decision isn't, bad. It doesn't, you're not lacking data. You went and you researched and you saw that a lot of books are $2.99. But if you're 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 books into it, like I am, it's really important for you to determine a strategy for this book, the one that you're talking about right now, when you launch, because that goal that you have may change over time. Let me give you an example of those goals. So there's more, but there's largely two big goals for pricing a book at a certain price point. And those two goals are make money and two, build readership. That's it. That's all we want to do, okay? Within both of those, you can price your book free. You can put it at $9.99. There are ways to make money doing both of those, and there's ways to build readership doing both of those. But generally speaking, when I'm coaching an author, one-on-one, I'm saying, hey, this is how you should think through this. I'm telling you to pick one or the other with any given book, okay? I'm saying this is a money-making book, or this is a build readership book. What makes it more complicated, or convoluted, I should say, is that strategy can and probably should change over time. Okay, and let me give you just a story as an example. When I first started, I mentioned Dan Brown, Clive Cussler, the Andy McDermotts, the Matt Rileys. These are the guys at James Rollins, the guys in my genre. When I first wrote my first book, The Atlantis Stone is what it's called now. I didn't have any idea how to do any of this stuff. So I just paid a cover designer, like, do something cool. And then I went on Kindle Unlimited and I was like, upload, do the thing. And then I had to choose a price. And so I went back and did the same thing I just said. I looked at all the other guys. What I noticed was, this is back in 2012, 2013. There were a lot of indies then, but not nearly as many as there are now. And so most of those charts were filled with traditionally published books like the guys I was reading. And I noticed they were $12.99 for the ebook, $14.99, $16.99, for the reasons I mentioned before, that either traditional published companies didn't really trust Amazon, still don't, and they wanted to protect their paperback rights. So long story short, I decided to price my book at $6.99 because when I saw indie authors, self-published authors, a lot of them were selling their books for 99 cents. And I thought, well, I really want to, make some money at this. And, the 99 cents is outside that KDP range of $2.99 to $9.99. Question in the comments if you guys don't know what I'm talking about there, I'll explain. But I think we all do, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to price my book at $6.99 because that's so much higher than the average for self-published authors. And at the time, self-published authors had this taboo that our books were crap. They weren't very good. So I didn't want to be part of that club, y'all. I wanted to be seen as a traditionally published thriller author who was on sale. Okay, so that's literally, that was all. I didn't have any data. I just said, I'm looking at this and I see this and I know this, so I'm going to price at this, and it became $6.99. I went for years priced at $6.99 for all of my releases. Now, I was only writing about a book every year and a half, so it wasn't like I had 40 books out at the time. But I very quickly, about 5 years into it, realized that I hadn't put a whole lot of thought and certainly hadn't built any tests to prove why this was the correct way to do it. So I'm going to give you a framework in a minute for how I do this now and how I think through this. But that's an example of making money, right? I wanted to price higher than other people in that genre because I wanted to make more money per book. The challenge is, as a new author, I didn't make any money because I didn't have a backlist. I didn't have a backlist. I didn't have a readership. Okay, I didn't have any goodwill pushing to these new releases. So that's the second strategy. It's generally either make money or this book is going to build readership. And of course, very, very simply, and probably the risk of oversimplifying, if you price a book lower, you're going to get more sales. You put it at free. Obviously, people will have no risk. They'll download it. Generally speaking, you're going to get it in front of more eyeballs and you'll build more readership. So this is more of a long-term game. Now, obviously, building a readership that's massive is a way to make money. So I'm not saying that that's a bad strategy. But a lot of authors just focus on making money in the short term specifically. So anyway, like I said, this is a strategy, and I've kind of talked about launches, but when you're pricing all of your books and when you're looking at repricing some of your books, you can choose, is it time for me to switch from just collecting readers that I've been doing this for 5 years, and now I need to start making some money. I'm going to slowly raise my prices, right? Or the other way around. Maybe I've got a backlist like I do of 40 titles, and I'm going to price a box of them together at 99 cents so I can test some Facebook ads or whatever the thing is. So there's some strategy that you need to be thinking through here. Okay, I've said enough there. Let's go into the frameworks, okay? Making sense so far? I see some comments in here. Thank you very much. Drop some questions if you have them, wherever you're watching from. If I don't answer them live right now, I'm going to get back and comment on them later today. But I have a meeting. Actually, I'm getting lunch with Mark Lefebvre. You might know him of Kobo fame and Drafted Digital. Anyway, sorry, I'm already thinking about food. Frameworks. So again, these are all mine. These, you can adopt your own. My goal is to prove to you that you need to have them. You need to base your decision on something other than, that's not a strategy, guys. That's not a framework. Okay, so think through this stuff, and whatever you do, it will probably work better than if you didn't have a framework to begin with or no strategy at all. So here's the frameworks for me. I gave you 2 strategies, make money and build readership. So I'm going to give you the frameworks that I use to determine how to do pricing within each one. If I'm looking at short term, and this is specifically for a launch, but it can be adapted to having a book out for a while and then deciding to do a promotion for a book. And I want to make a bunch of money on this promotion, okay? So I call this like the bang launch. It doesn't matter, call it whatever you want. But this is where you would launch at a higher price. So maybe in the high category. Again, mine's $6.99. I've launched plenty of books at $6.99. My readership kind of expects that now. You will do a pre-order lead up. So you'll put it on pre-order for X amount of time. Doesn't really matter, I've found. But a year, down to 3 months, 3 weeks, whatever. And then you want to do some newsletter swaps a few weeks after the launch. Now this is interesting, and I'm not going to get into it a whole lot, but I use a process that's iterative. I call it my iterative publishing process. And that means I launch the book and it's done, in quotes. But the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm making iterative changes. So people will read it and be like, oh, this sucks. You forgot to take this character out. Oh yeah, shit, sorry. Okay, and then I'll go take the character out and republish the book. We get to do this, right? We get to do, we're self-published author. We get to make all these changes. Don't think that your book is done when you publish it. Like I said, I don't want to get too far into this because this is getting more into the imposter syndrome. People are like, I can't press publish because it's not perfect. it ain't going to be perfect. And if it's your first one, it's going to suck anyway. You might as well release it and move on. Okay. Boom. Done. So newsletter swaps 2 to 3 weeks after launch. Sorry, I cracked myself up. I find myself hilarious. Newsletter swaps 2 to 3 weeks after you launch so that all of these iterative changes you've made are done. Or maybe you don't do that process, but 2 to 3 weeks after launch gives Amazon time to figure its shit out because it's like not giving you the rank the first 5 days, whatever. All that stuff goes away and your book is like normally in the store the way it's supposed to be a week to 2 weeks after launch. So schedule these newsletter swaps after launch. You've still got this high priced book. This is when people will be sharing your book and saying, oh my God, my buddy Nick's got a new book out. Go buy it, right? And then here's the part that we forget. We probably should be doing ads. If we're doing this high price, make money, short term kind of thing, 1 to 2 months after we launch that book, the ads kick in, okay? Now, I'm being very, very general here. There's a lot of times if it's a first in a series, I won't run ads, okay? But if it's 3, 4, 5, 6 books into it, I'll start running ads to the first book in the series. But I'm talking about the book I just released, book 6, right? That would be the one that is higher priced, and I'm trying to get traction to that through read through. But again, guys, this takes so much time because we've released a book, and even if we write a book in 2 weeks and publish it, Amazon, it's got the 30, 60, 90-day cliffs that don't have as much impact anymore today, so don't really hinge on that too much. But the point is, there is an amount of time, and it's usually measured in months, that we can measure the success or failure of a launch. What I'm getting at is you can't look at this stuff tomorrow and say, I changed my price. It didn't work. Okay, you can't look at it 2 weeks from now and say, I changed my price. It didn't work. You got to wait 6 months a lot of times before you really start to see good data. And I'm not talking about statistical anomalies, right? That's variance, right? I'm talking about good solid data that says on a spreadsheet, this little thing is trending up. Is it backwards for you? Oh, it wouldn't be upside down. No. Yeah. So trending up. Your little graph is going up. This is working. I'm making more profit. I'm making more money. Or if I'm not focused on profit, I'm building more readership because I priced the book higher and I'm running ads to it, right? So the profit margin's lower. Anyway, so the next framework is this idea of making money long-term or pricing a book lower to build the readership. And so this is the funnel strategy. So if you imagine a funnel, all the people that you want to reach in the world are at the top of the funnel. These are cold leads in marketing speak. So these are the people up here that you're just like, hey, come into my world. And as you go through, you get them funneled down until they're in your world and you can sell them higher priced stuff. This is how marketing online works. Shady or not shady, this is how all of it is done. You put an ad out to all these people that could potentially be your client, and most of them will say, I don't care, and they'll pass. Some of them will jump into your funnel, get on your mailing list, get your free book, whatever it is, and they'll be in your funnel now, and they'll be at this mid funnel area. I'm sure there's words for it, but they'll be in this little middle area of the funnel where you can start to say, hey, I'm going to build a relationship with you, reader. Like, I write more stuff like this. Thanks for getting my free book. Thanks for getting my low priced book, whatever it is. There's very little risk that they've taken to get in there. Now you're warming them up. Now you're just saying, I love you. Thanks for being my reader. I hope you enjoy it. And then over time, you get them into the bottom of your funnel, which is where you start sending them higher priced stuff, things to buy, I should say, right? So you're not giving away stuff for free. You're asking them for more money now. So that's the funnel approach. And generally speaking, that's how you make money long term. And just by definition, you can tell it's not a short-term strategy. I can't build a funnel using Facebook ads to go find new readers and have it work tomorrow. Meaning I'm not going to have $1,000 more in my bank account tomorrow from this funnel, right? But over the course of 6 months, over the course of a year, absolutely. I'm going to start to see real growth. Oh, I got this many people into the top of the funnel, and then I've converted that many people into jumping on my mailing list and getting some of my freebies and just really getting some time to read my books. And then I can see that person traveled all the way to the bottom of my funnel and purchased one of my $6.99 backlist series of 15 books. They gave me $150. I can't do math, but that should be close, right? So that's how this long-term strategy of pricing works. The question I always get at this point is, why not both? Can I do both of these things? You can. You can target short-term, high-price launch for your book and build readership at the same time with that same book. It's just a lot harder, guys. It costs more money generally Because like I said, you pretty much at this day, you have to use ads. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to spend a bunch of money. But if you want to do both of these things at once, it's going to cost more money in ads. And the reason for that is the risk factor of that funnel. If it costs nothing for someone to jump into the top of your funnel, it doesn't cost that much money to advertise to them to get there. But if you're asking them to jump into the top of your funnel, and the top of your funnel is a $6.99 book or a $9.99 book if you're a nonfiction, or even $3.99, it's going to cost more money to get those people, because even more people will say no. Does that make sense? All right, cool. And I'm not talking to myself here too, so jump in, leave a comment if you got a question. I'm going to go through these in a minute. But okay, one more thing, and then we're going to get to some questions. The last part is some of the detail here that I've mentioned 6 months. I mentioned 12 months. Look, and I mentioned that in any of these frameworks, you can choose one and then change it. But I need you to hear this. Timing matters, okay? I mean, I kind of talked around it, but you can't be changing price every day hoping for that silver bullet slot where all of a sudden people start buying. It's just not how it works. I mentioned Amazon. It doesn't matter what store it is. The internet is fast moving, but this stuff, market forces, are not as fast moving, okay? You price a book at $2.99 after it's been $6.99 for 10 years, which is literally what I've just done with the Enigma strain a few weeks ago. I'm testing $2.99 now because it's the first in series. It's 15 books long, and they were all $6.99. Okay, and I wanted to get everybody, into the top of that funnel. So I said, hey, $2.99, maybe I can gather some more, organic visibility from Amazon. So $2.99 is the first book, $3.99 is the second book, $4.99 is the third book. I made a mistake, and I think the fourth book is also $4.99 because I'm an idiot. And then it's $6.99 for the rest. I have to let that sit for at least 6 months before I can pull any useful data out of that, okay? And I said that on purpose. I have to. I forced myself to sit and wait. Trust me, I want to say that this experiment failed and push my book back up to $6.99 so I can make all the money. But I may be losing out on money if I do that. $2.99 doesn't look like it's working for this series, for this book right now, but it's going to take 6 months at least to really tell if it's working. Okay? I can't harp on that enough. Maximum time for testing prices is probably 12 months. You don't need to go longer than that. So this $2.99 experiment I'm doing, this kind of ramping up into my series using price, first of all, it relies on having a good book package. And I mean, I've experimented with description and keywords, and I've optimized this stuff for 10 years because the book came out in 2013 or 2014. So I'm not saying that it's perfect because nothing ever is, but it's about as good as I can possibly get it. I know the cover's amazing because I had Dave do it. His name's actually Dave, not Dale, like I said earlier. Dave Behrens is an amazing book cover. He's my designer now. I know that the cover is amazing. I know that's working. I know everything's working. So the book package is all there. I'm playing with the price as a lever just to see if it's going to work to get me some long-term income. Okay. But I don't need more than 12 months to determine that. So I'm going to let this ride for 6 months. I'm going to start looking real heavy at the data after 6 months. Did this book sell more copies, more units? Even if I made less profit on this book, if it sold more units than it was selling at $6.99, well, that tells me that I have now gained readers. I have bigger readership. And because I also know my read-through rate from book 1 to book 15, I know how much that person that came into Enigma Strain is going to earn me on average to the lifetime customer, right? Again, marketing speak, lifetime value is super important. That's why people will, I don't know if they still do this. I don't buy anything anymore, but that's why T-Mobile wants to keep you, or a cable company wants to keep you rather than, they want to drop you rather than get a new customer. I don't know. I'm getting off tangent here. You know what I'm talking about, right? Lifetime value of a customer is super, super important for these companies. So they will spend more money to find new customers because they can just get one customer in the system. It means that much more money for them in the long term. That is true for us as authors. Okay, so if we can get one reader in the beginning of our top of our funnel, the beginning of our bucket, and they'll read through all these different books, there's a number, there's a value for that, and we need to know that. That's tracking your read through rate, tracking sales through all these books. And again, that takes time to really see. So the point is, 6 to 12 months, 6 or 12 months, I should say. That's really important. So 6 or 12 months. Choose one. If you want to do 6 months, great. If you want to do 12 months, great. That's if you want to change your price. That's what you need to be looking at. Is I'm going to change this price. Can I handle this for 6 months? Because you just won't know. It may look like you're making less money changing the price, but 6 months into it, that may not be the case. Okay, and you won't know if you change the price back right away. All right. I mentioned this a little bit already, but the last thing here is just, the measurement is really important. The testing of this stuff is really important. If you're just changing your price because this guy told you to, that's a bad reason. You need to change your price because you've chosen a strategy, you've built your own framework, and you have a way to measure this stuff. Okay, and I'm not saying you got to be a data guy. You don't have to jump in, or girl, sorry. If you don't have to jump in and look at spreadsheets all day, that's not what I'm saying. But using something like Book Report, okay, a plugin that you can install on top of your KDP dashboard, or you could even use just the built-in KDP reporting. Whatever you use is fine. You can go back. I like Book Report because you can actually choose dates. It's weird you can't do that in the Amazon one. To an extent you can, but you know what I'm saying? Like you can actually choose custom dates in Book Report and see based on, you drill down into the book, how well did this do? You can change from overall earnings, which helps you determine profit, or total units, total paid units, I should say. So it gets rid of all the freebies you may have given away if you had a BookBub in the middle. But this is a great way to measure, okay, well, did this book do more for my career over the last 6 months? Very, very easy to find, but you need to know how to do that. Otherwise you're thrown into the wind. You're just guessing. Okay. And guessing doesn't take us to the next level in our career. Okay, cool. So perfect timing. I'm going to jump through here and try to get some comments in there. Try to get some questions answered, I should say. And hopefully things won't explode on me. Why can't I see all of them? Because Facebook, that's why. Give me a minute here. We will see. Thanks, Rose. My attitude, approach. Yep. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. That means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. Dale, I will say sup to Mark. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to walk in and say sup. Just like that. I miss his face too. He's here in town in Colorado Springs for a conference that we've got this weekend. It says 39 comments and I can read 4 of them. Gotta love Facebook. All right, let me dive into this group page and see if I can affect change here. Bear with me. Apologize. We'll get there. 46 comments now. Facebook says it's loading them. Might be a shorter call than we expected, folks, because I can only see 4 of these things. Let's try something else. Where can we go? Where can we go? Maybe I'll just have Dale text me all the questions. Let's make him do that. Hold on a sec. We'll change over to my other account and see if we can get in here. Like I said, if this ends up not working, I'll just go back and use my little fingies to comment and reply to everybody. But I'm really hoping we can do some live stuff because that would really put a damper on doing these in the future. Facebook, if you're listening. Yeah. David Wilson said a lot of people are just saying they can see me. Well, that's good. I'm glad you guys can see me. I can see me too. It's really weird, actually. I'm on a delay. Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions. Sorry, guys. I see 48 comments. Well, yeah, Andre, I wish I could pull up my phone. I'm using my phone as my camera. I can change that. I got this one. I can turn this one on and hold it like this. But right now, I can only see, it is live, so I can see 4 comments kind of scrolling through. So if you have a question and you want to re-up, drop that question in and I should see it. I'm staring at it right now. Scarlet Moss, yep, I can only see 4 comments too. It is a famous Facebook glitch. All right. I'll take your word for it. It's a famous Facebook glitch. No worries. We will prevail, won't we? I'll hang out here for a few more minutes, and if there's a question you guys have and you want to kind of jump back up to the top of the queue, just type it again. Don't worry about the previous one. Just type it again, and I'll answer stuff live as I can, and then I'll go back later and answer them with my hands. Natalie Brown, Where do price promos figure into your launch strategy for building readership? Yeah, that's a good question. So specifically for a launch strategy, I try personally, again, this is just me. I try not to do price promos. So if I'm understanding your question correctly, the question would be, do we take our typical, list price, $6.99 is mine, and go lower while we launch it? Hey, that's helpful. Thanks, Robin. I didn't know you were here. Hi, Robin. She sent me a Facebook message, and I'm like, this is not a good time. Oh, wait. She sent me a question from somebody. This is great. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yes, keep doing this. This is awesome. Natalie, so I don't like to use price as a strategy for launch for one main reason. I'm launching these books to my readers who already know how much my books cost. Okay? And they have their own way of getting my books, whether that's buying it at $6.99 or they're in Kindle Unlimited, and typically all of my books are in Kindle Unlimited as well, where they can get it for free, right? $10 a month, they can get my books. So I don't like to drop the price of my book for a launch. There are some exceptions, of course. If this is a brand new series, especially if I'm trying a little bit different thing, like a different genre, would be a great example. If I'm a new pen name for sure, like I'm just basically a brand new author, I might try a low price strategy, 99 cents to $2.99. I might try that for a window, for a period of time. Okay, I hope that helps. And I'm going to jump over to, the question that Robin threw in here. Anne Lown asks, it is interesting about waiting 6 to 12 months for data. I hadn't thought about that being a factor for deciding the price point before. Yeah, this is why it's tricky. So in marketing, you have leading indicators, which are things you do leading up to a data point, and trailing indicators, which are things that happen after that data point. So any point in time, you can look at, well, okay, this is what it says today. I made X amount of dollars from this book today. What did I do before that? Those are all trailing indicators. What happened after it? Those are all, before that is leading indicators, right? And then behind that, after that is trailing indicators. The reason these are important and the reason we should know the difference is it may take a long time for those trailing indicators to give us good data. That's it. That's all it is. So if we run an ad today, that is like a trailing indicator for whether or not a price point is a good one. But there's leading indicators, there's trailing indicators. I'm sorry, I'm all over my words. You guys know what I'm talking about. There are also trailing indicators after. Did the book, go up in rank? Did we get more subscribers? Did my read through improve? That you can use to go back in time and determine, well, that price worked or didn't work for my strategy. So I'm not saying it's easy. There's some convolution here, but that's just the way it works. Okay. Thanks, Robin. I appreciate it. I saw David's question. We'll jump to that now. David Wilson, what about pricing super low and making up the money through volume? One author charges $1.99 for everything and has sold millions. Yeah, totally, dude. I mean, that's absolutely a strategy that you can adopt. I would say, again, know why you're doing it, okay? Because he's not making as much money per unit on those books, obviously, because not only is it $1.99, he gets 35% of that because he's outside of Amazon's 70% window. I don't know why they made it 35 instead of 30. It would be a lot easier, but it's 35% if it's not priced within $2.99 to $9.99 on Amazon KDP. Other stores are different, but generally speaking, he's making 25% on average from these books. Let's call it 30%. The point is, each individual copy he sells. You didn't say he was a he. Oh yeah, you did remember his name. I apologize to random author we're talking about. Yeah, he doesn't make as much money per unit, but he sells a lot of units. He moves a lot of units. His readership is probably very large because of that, because he's gotten more volume. However, he probably has also inadvertently trained those readers to expect $1.99 to be his price. So if I were this person, I would say, hey, you can build your readership by selling books and by getting people and doing some freebies and stuff. But I would look at doing your backlist, raising the price slowly over time, or your new releases maybe being $2.99 for a year and then maybe $3.99 for a year. See how high you can push it. Because what I've also found is that when we move these things, we use leading indicators like changing the price to give us some data. It doesn't often change that drastically, right? So if he goes from $1.99 to $2.99, shock and awe, we might think, he's going to lose all these readers. I bet he wouldn't. I mean, it's worth a test. I don't know if that answers your question at all. Ann Lown, yeah. Police procedural. This is a follow up. Okay, police procedural seems to heavily aim at 199 pounds or dollars or euro, I guess. With the indie authors I know, is that a hangover from the last 10 years, and can it easily be trended upwards even if the others keep to the smaller price point? Yeah, this is where it gets a little tricky, because if you say, generally speaking, everyone in my genre is at 199, what that by definition means is there are outliers, there are anomalies. I want you to be the anomaly. Okay, I want you to be the person to say, well, yeah, they're all 199. I don't know what they're doing. I'm making 699. I'm selling my books just fine. If you go and I launch a book, you'll see a lot of times mine will be on a new release bestseller chart, and it's 699, and I'm doing just fine, right? And maybe my tail doesn't last as long. Maybe I'm not on that list as high for as long as the 199s, the 299s, the 399s, the 499s, even the 599s. But I'm making more money than they are, okay? And I've decided at this point in my career, I can do both. I've got a large enough readership and audience, and I know how to do ads well enough that I can focus on both. Hope that helps. Have you ever done a relaunch of an existing series? And if so, did you adapt your pricing strategy in any way because it was a relaunch? That's a question from Jen Mitchell. Yeah, so not a whole series. I've never relaunched an entire series. I've recovered parts of a series, and I have relaunched individual books. So that first book I mentioned I wrote, The Atlantis Stone, it used to be called The Golden Crystal, and for reasons that will take too long to get into, it wasn't the right fit, and so I rewrote it. I reworked the whole thing, slapped a new cover on it, and put it back up for sale. Now, I didn't change pricing in any way for that, because again, this was well into my career. This was 5 years ago or so, so it was pretty far along, and I didn't want to change price. The strategy was, I want to make money. I don't want to build readership from this book that most of my readers have already read. Okay, so I didn't do that for that particular book, and the second time I've done it for The Depths, I didn't do that either. Part of that reason, though, Jen, was that it wasn't a full relaunch. Like, I took the book down, lost the reviews, republished it, re-released it completely. I just changed the name, the cover, some of the categories it was in, the description, and the price. And it sounds like that's an entirely new book, and you would be right. But I specifically left it in the same, book in the KDP dashboard. So I changed the Golden Crystal to all of these new things and just let it go, because I wanted to keep the reviews and the goodwill. It had good ratings and all that. So that's why I did it that way. So I pretty much ruined my own data by doing it, I'll admit. But no, I haven't done that. Lynn says, I've tried using a lower price, $2.99 in her example, during the pre-order period, and then bump it up to $4.99 to the regular sell price on publication day. Seemed to work. Totally. Yeah, this is a great strategy. So I may have said that I don't do this, but I'm not saying that it's a bad strategy. Do you guys understand the difference? I didn't do pre-orders. I mean, for most of my books, I'm starting to test them now, but all of it's a test. All of it changes. I think there's some value to pre-orders. I also think there's some value to not doing a pre-order. There's some value to using a lower price kind of ramp up. But again, it's all about training your readers, and it's all about testing and having measurable goals, and knowing that it takes 6 to 12 months to get good data that you can actually use. If you've tried using a lower price, $2.99 for example, keep it. If it works really well, keep it. But test it. Be willing to change it. Well, let's try releasing it at $3.99. See if you get the same amount of sales, guess what? You just made more money, right? So just test this stuff and see what happens. Robin said Nix relaunched her series and upped the price on all of them. Yes, we did do that. I forgot about that. I'm sorry. Great series too. So Crosswinds, like those books, did we pull them down completely, or did we just do the same thing where we took, I can't remember. Anyway, so you can do either one, is fine. I think I answered everything that I've seen. If there's any other questions, let me know. I apologize, guys. I talk very fast. I get excited about this stuff. But it's okay. We're going to do a lot of these. We're going to do a bunch more. And I'm dancing now. You may get to see me dance. That's not something people get to see very often. Adam says his books are generally $3.95. Be real curious. I've wondered about that too. That the 99 seems to be just what we all do. And I've never tested 95, 98, 97 cents. But you're allowed to. In Amazon, they let you do $3.95, $6.95, whatever. One thing I didn't talk about is pricing in different markets, like different countries. As you know, you get to the pricing page on Amazon KDP, for example, again, because I use that a lot. And you can choose, first of all, which market your book is like the home base is. So I always use .com because I'm over here in .com land. But then you have all these other ones like .co.uk, .au. These are the different countries, right? And each market has their own denomination of currency, of course, but also like price expectation. And I've never run a really exhaustive test on this, but I generally, what my strategy is to just keep it the same price. I'm putting that in quotes because the numbers will be different, but the feel for the price will be the same. So $6.99 feels a certain way, and that will translate to every country. And I can't think of the examples, but I think Australia, Canada, it might be like $7.99 or something like that, right? So whatever it is in that country, try to do that. But if you don't do that, and you just let Amazon change the price, you'll get all kinds of wacky stuff. Like we've got one print book in Australia that's like $997. I don't know. I didn't do that. That's just Amazon being awesome. So just make sure you do that and you get to set that because I don't like Amazon. Sorry. Yeah, Dale says it's so easy to talk fast when going live. It's got that issue a lot. No, you don't, Dale. Dale's perfect in every way. I know this guy. He's just beautiful. Just a perfect, beautiful man. Robin, we pulled him down completely, but because the print books stay forever. That's what it was. Okay, so yeah, that's right. If you pull a book down to do a relaunch, you can actually keep your reviews. The way we did it in this case was with the keeping the print book up there because basically that ISBN is like used up and those reviews are attached to that kind of. Although I do know, Conundrum, my publishing company, we've republished some books from thriller authors that didn't have paperbacks like that. And so we pulled them down completely thinking we were going to lose reviews, but we just decided it was worth it. And put them back up through our publishing account and then went live. Amazon sent us the letter that the doom and gloom, like, hey, this isn't yours, prove the copyright. We've got a form letter we send back to them that says you're an idiot. And we sign it. And then the book shows up and then the reviews started populating again, which was a surprise to us because I had always heard that those reviews are probably going to be lost forever. So don't, quote me on that because Amazon loves to mess with people's brains in such ways. But it worked for us. So if you do a relaunch, you can probably pull it down completely and then set it up as a brand new book in your dashboard and publish it. And sometimes those reviews will come back. But again, I don't know how scientifically that works, right? Okay, Randall says, after much experimentation, I priced my thrillers at $5.99. But now Nick says I'm high. Randall, every time I've seen you, man, you're high. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, don't quote me on that. Actually, I have a free first in series and the 9 books after that price. They've done well for years. Yeah, totally, man. Right. That's the thing. I think if you're getting nothing else from this, everyone listening, everyone watching, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. It just, anything you want to do can work, right? I have some ways that I do it, but really what it comes down to is have a reason. That's the framework. Know the framework you're using, the strategy that you want. Have the goal. That's the strategy. And then know why you're doing those things, right? So scientific, right? Scientific method says pick a thing and then go figure out if the thing worked. So that implies you have to be able to measure the thing, right? So if you got a free first in series and you wanted to see if the 9 books after that sell, go do it. Go design a test and then go give yourself 6 months or 12 months and figure out if it worked. Chances are it'll work just fine. But just know why you're doing it. Because if I ever see you in person and you'll be like, I priced my books like this, I'm going to say, why'd you do it? Okay, you can quote me on that. I'll do it. You tell me why you priced your books that way. I'll say, why'd you do that? What were you trying to test? How are you testing it? How are you measuring it? I'll put you back to the wall. Don't you worry. I'll get you, especially if you're Randall Wood. Yep, Dale says he could make a whole season of bloopers from live streams. Dude, you probably should, man. I used to watch the Pirates of the Caribbean DVDs. You guys know what DVDs are? These little circles. Used to put them into TVs and like movies would show up. They had a whole DVD on like special features, and I actually like that better than Pirates. And I love Pirates, but yeah, you could, dude. I would watch the bloopers of you all day long. You speak so fast that you derail yourself or stammer, cringe in your skin, but maintain a smile. Yeah, it's like, hi everyone, how's it going? I hope this is working out well. I do the same thing. Same thing. All right, listen, we are wrapping up. We are getting to the end here. There's probably questions on other platforms. I know this is going live to a group. Hopefully you're all in that group. That's where I want all of you to be. Free to join. I ask for your email address only so I can send you a bunch of spam, that kind of stuff, right? But jump in there and participate. I'm not going to kick you. This isn't like other groups. I ain't going to kick you out for saying hi. Jump in there and just let us know who you are. Let us know where you are in your author career, because the goal with Book Career in a Year is to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. A lot of times what got you there won't get you there, okay? So that's what I want to talk about. Now, I don't always have the answer, and I don't always know exactly what you should do, but I want to do this where I say, here's who I am. Here's what worked for me. Here's what didn't work for me. Here's how I approach things. If this is helpful to you, you can have it, okay? I sell courses. I've got bookcareerinayear.com. You can go find the courses there. They're $35, and there's always a coupon somewhere floating around on the internet, if not on the main website, because I want this to be accessible, okay? And the idea is I'll have a library of these courses over time. So you can come in and join the live streams for free, hear about some pricing stuff, hearing about whatever we're talking about that week, jump into the discussion, the debate, argument, whatever it is, and then you can go and dive deeper into a course, just one-on-one video, download them, watch them at your own pace, that kind of thing. But I also have free email courses. So if you want to learn how to do email, you want to learn how to do social media, you want to learn how to do advertising, I have free 20-week courses that are absolutely broken right now and don't work. So you'll get to like week 8 and then it'll stop. But I'm fixing it, I promise. But they're totally free. Sign up and you'll get those emails sent to your inbox and directly into your brainstem. So that's what this all is about. It's about saying, hey, we're all at a level. Maybe it's brand new. Maybe it's I make 20 million a year. But there's always another level. And the goal with this group is to level up. Okay? That's all this is. This is also streaming live, though, to my page. Nick Thacker, I think Marketing Publishing Craft is the name of it. I had to make a new one because Facebook had me on a classic page, which I didn't know was a thing. It's a whole thing. So I'm on that, and that's probably, you might be watching on that. If you're watching it on that page, thank you. Hi, welcome. Like and follow, do all that stuff. But then find your way over to the group, because that's where this stuff will live long term, right? And then this is all going to Instagram. This is all going to YouTube. It will end up in some iteration. It'll be on TikTok. So whatever you want to find me, whatever you want to, consume, I'll make it easy. I'll split over. I do have a team working on splitting this stuff up and chopping it and doing all that stuff. So you should be able to find it is the point, right? And finally, last question, do we sign up on the website? Yeah, sign up wherever you want. It's all going to go kind of in the same box. I'm fixing it and building it all right now. I got a little CRM tool that doesn't quite talk to the email platform, that doesn't quite talk to the website. But just sign up for something. You won't get lost. If you don't want to do any of that, if you don't like email, whatever, I wish you did, because that's how I want to communicate most. But join the group at least. Just, you're here, you're watching it, join the group, jump in there. You can invite other people to the group. I'd love for you to do that. If this is valuable to you and you want people to know that there's free stuff happening an hour every single week, join the group. That's where the replays will be too. All right, guys, I got to go get lunch with a friend and do some conferencey stuff. Yay. Thank you so much for being here. I think this was fun. I hope you can put up with a lot of hand talking, all that stuff, a lot of bleh. But I want to keep this. I want to do this over and over again. We'll do some different topics. If you have some ideas on topics, drop them in the group. Just whatever you want. Let me know. And we will talk to you next week. Same time, same place. Coming at you live in Book Career in a Year. We'll talk soon. Bye.